everyone, and welcome to Slipjoint Sawyer. As you can probably see from the thumbnail in front of me here, we've got a brand new knife from RoseCraft blades to unbox. They've been putting out some fantastic stuff recently, and this is quite not an unusual take, but it's not a pattern I thought they would go for, but Andy's done a fantastic job with it. Just going to get straight into the unboxing and we'll take a look around the knife. So it comes in the usual sort of craft style paper box with logo, website, label on the bottom, and this is the Mud Creek Congress. This one's in the Burlwood. I also have a green Micarta one here as well. Model number is RCT028 BRL or G whatever it is for the Micarta, GM for green Micarta. Drawer style box, and look what you're greeted with right out of the box. Look at the Burlwood on this. Now this is one I've been excited for since Andy mentioned he was doing Burlwood. It looks absolutely fantastic, but we don't need that anymore. So here it is, the Mud Creek Congress from RoseCraft Blades, and right off the bat, the looks of this, it's fantastic. Not going to have any issues with the quality. All the ones I've had have been absolutely superb, spectacular fit and finish, right down the centre. Halved in, or smoothing over those pins is absolutely beautiful. But we have a Burlwood, and we have this beautiful sort of olive green, sort of dark greeny kind of micarta. And I love the way, it's sanded and contoured round. You get the different high, low parts. And you can see that they've done it in such a way that there's a nice swell in the middle here to make it a lot more comfortable for you in hand. And you can see that as well with the Burlwood one. If anything, I would say the Burlwood might be a little bit chunkier than the micarta. That could just be by the eye. No, I think it's definitely a bit chunkier. So if you want a slender knife, go for the micarta. If you want a chunkier knife in the hand, go for the Burlwood, because it really does sort of fill the hand with that extra girth in the wood there. It makes it fantastic. But we have stainless steel bolsters and liners, which are integral, which means that the liners and the bolsters are all one piece milled out, and they're beautifully lined on either end of the knife with this sort of rounded style square end caps, or bolsters if you'd like to call them. And you can see that they are perfectly lined up with the lining through the bolsters here as well. Stainless steel back spring, absolutely beautiful fit and finish. Cannot see a single gap on that whatsoever. Can't feel anything sharp, everything's smoothed over beautifully. And they're just calling this Burlwood, but it does look a lot to me like Thoya Burl or Thoya Burl. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce it, but Thoya Burl has a very distinct smell. This doesn't have that smell, but the characteristics are the same with these little tiny dots, so of course are like the knots in the wood. And we have the rose bomb shield on here as well, of course in stainless steel. And this is held together with nickel silver pins here, and then obviously stainless pins holding either end of the knife together. And this comes with an absolutely beautiful Wharncliffe blade, and look at the heavy swedging on the top there. Now of course this is in D2 like all other RoseCraft traditional knives. See that, D2 steel, RCT028-BRL. And one of the things I love they've done on this is the long pull. I love a long pull knife. I think it just looks much classier and a bit more upmarket than a nail neck of the Crescent Moon. Beautiful RoseCraft stamp, and look at the meet up on the back there. It's superb. And this thing, for a little suede back handle, is actually surprisingly comfortable, because I'm never normally a fan of sway backs, but it's sort of short enough that it fits right around this part of my hand here. Now the longer ones kind of get a bit annoying if you think the handle's up here and it's doing this sort of thing, or if it's too short you get the end of the sway back sticking in your thumb here. But this one, it nests right in this part of my hand here. Let's have a look at the length over here. So the close length is just over 3.6 inches. Width of the girthiest point is, I don't know, 0.6 of an inch. And then I believe this is a UK legal blade as well. So yeah, the full blade length is coming in under 3 inches with a cutting edge of 2.5 inches. So brilliant, another UK legal knife for you guys to pick up if you do wish so. Now they're going to be available on Monday the 18th on RoseCraft's website. You can use code SLIPPY10 to get yourself 10% off of that. And they will be available at Heine Haynes as well. Now they're going to be launching on RoseCraft site for about $59, so expect to see them on Heine Haynes from £65 to £70, probably $69.99 I'd imagine, going off their sort of recent prices. But I mean, look at the Burlwood on that. Absolutely over the moon with this one. I think it's fantastic. But big fan of wooden covers on knives, but the Micarta one is no sort of ugly duckling by any means. It's absolutely beautiful. Of course, we're going to have exactly the same specs as the Burlwood, but just with this sort of more modern material of the Micarta on there. But I love the staging effects. You've got the high bit, you know, like a topographical map where you can see it go down for the mountain ridges. I think that looks beautiful on Micarta. Things like that where you can really see how it's made, you know, with the different layers sort of resin together. This one as well, absolutely right down the middle. Action is fantastic. I would say it's right about a 7. Nice and snappy. Of course, there's a half stop. Yeah, I'd say that's right about a 7 on there. So pretty much ideal for a pocket knife, that. And you can be able to do brilliant draw cuts of this, so you can get your finger right down. And with that sort of swell in the center, you can sort of hold it in this grip and you can do a really detailed cut. This would be perfect for anyone doing sort of leather work and stuff. I think this would be a great knife for that. Of course, it's not going to be good for food prep because you can only really get the tip down. No matter how much you hold it, you're not going to be getting much of that belly of the blade because it's just a nice little Wharncliffe. But as a sort of a secondary knife, or if you're just wanting a nice gentleman's carry, I think this is absolutely beautiful. So we'll take a look at that model number again, which is RCT028. You've got the BRL for the Burl, and then you have the LGM, I guess that's for light green Micarta. I'd say that's more of a sort of medium to dark green, if I'm honest. But yeah, very happy with this one. Andy's done another great design. So Andy, thank you very much for bringing us these knives. They are fantastic. I just can't get over how this Burlwood looks. I hope they're all this good because look, even this sort of cut of the wood, you can see the grain coming through. I think it's fantastic. Yeah, massive fan. So I would imagine they're going to be available in the UK mid to end of next week, starting the 18th. But they're going to be available to order in the States from Monday the 18th. So I really hope you enjoyed this review, guys. If you did, please be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.